Hi everyone, somebody's just asked me about using metallic pigments in these beautiful moulds from IntoResin, and IntoResin had sent me some metallic pigments, so why not? I must admit it's something I've not really thought about. Normally we'd put like chameleon powders or holographic film on the back of these, that sort of thing, but I've not really thought about trying the metallics in them. I've also got another mould here. This is just a cheap thing I picked up from somewhere, so that we can have a look. But yeah, why not? I thought it's worth a try. So here's the colours that IntoResin sent me, actually at the same time as they sent me the last batch of moulds. We've got red gold, we've got red wine, we've got gold. You know, there's a lot in here. Dark grey. Anyway, I've got to pick some to use. We'll give them a good shake. This is the box. They come in a set of 12. There we are. Oh, if you fancy any of these moulds or those inks, by the way, I have, or pigments, whatever they are, I have got a discount code for you. So everything I'm using today, there will be a link down in the video description below for you. The resin I'm using is my usual favourite, and this is Apex High Gloss. So I've had this in this pot, stirring it up for a little while, so it should be pretty much ready to disperse across a few pots. So I'm going to try a few different things with this, I think. I think the other thing I'll do is get a couple of coloured inks out as well to play with. Well, pigments. Pigments, inks. I'll see how these behave. Let's put a bit in one pot first and we'll see what it does. Quite intrigued by some of these colours. Should we try ruby red? Then, we'll try standard gold as well in a minute. Give it a good shake. But so far that's acting like a metallic alcohol ink would, sitting on the surface. Does it mix in? When they say pigment, you kind of expect it to mix. Yes, it does. Nice. Now I've only put a little bit, so it's quite translucent. That's rather lovely. Right, let's make sure it's well stirred up, because there's a couple of lumpy bits in there. Probably because it's a new bottle. That's probably some of the film that was on the top. Maybe I didn't shake it quite well enough. Could we put this in the turtle? Yeah, it is a bit bitty. So it must be because it's a new bottle. I didn't mix quite enough there, but I'm a bit intrigued to see what that comes out like when you mix it in like that. I'll try some with it just sitting on the surface in a second. As you can see, this is the first time I've used these. You can probably hear birds song in the back garden because I've got my window open, of course. You'll probably hear cars as well. There goes a BMW. I'm just being slightly distracted actually. I'm going to pause this in a minute and show you what's going on my fence. Yes, what's going on my fence at the moment is that there's a baby dove sat on it. So give me a moment, I'll pull this. Then we'll have a little dove interlude. I think it's a youngster. Let's have a look at what that's doing actually in the mould. I don't know if you can see that shimmer. I can, it's lovely. Right, give me a second, I'll show you this bird. It's so cute. That's as far as my camera zooms, I'm afraid. I'll see if I can do... By the time this has been edited, I hope I can get in a bit further, get a bit closer to him. Little soul just looks so comfortable sat there on the fence. I'll try and zoom in a bit more in the edit, hope that'll work. Right, where were we? Zoom back out. Yeah, so that's doing quite a nice sparkle. It looks rather lovely. Okay, I'll let the bubbles dissipate because that will degas on its own. When you get these moulds, don't use heat guns on them. Don't use alcohol on them. They're handmade, and it's not going to do them a lot of good. Basically, green gold. That would have been nice for the turtle, wouldn't it? I'll tell you what, that's looking really nice. The sun's coming out. You can see the sparkle coming on that. We have sun in my craft room. Where's my pin gone? There it is. We don't need anywhere near that much. So it will sit on the surface like, like an ink would. Oh, look at that. That's nice. I wonder if that first one would have gone that crazy if I'd used more. Here we have the first mould I ever had from IntoResin. And I know I've used this well over 100 times now and it's still going strong. So let's see what that does. I'm going to chuck some into one of these hearts as well. It's a big heart. So I've got quite a bit left in my little pot. I'm glad the sun's coming round, especially as I'm not doing UV stuff today. I'm going to end up with a load of random hearts here, aren't I? Don't worry, I'll find a use for them. I always do with random bits that I make. Does anybody else end up with a big box of bits, you know, leftover resin bits? Dark grey. Some interesting colours for a set of metallics here. What I'm going to do with this one is I'm just going to pour the resin straight in. This is the one that you need to do a bit of wiggling with. This is a very detailed mould and you do get bubbles trapped with the best will in the world. So you need to do a bit of this. You see the bubbles coming out. Bit of squashing. Look, pulling it backwards is the way to release them from this one. There we go. Those will come out now. So what I'm going to do with this one is just drop the resin onto the pigment on the back. Let's try mixing the silver in as well. That is doing something pretty amazing on the surface. Oh, that little dove's having a wash now. It's been very distracting. You see that moving? It's all pulling in now. Don't know how much sinking is going on there. Quite a bit, I think. Let's try mixing some of the silver in. It's quite a lot. Look, I've gone a bit liberal with this. So that's a mix it in. So we've got one of each with the silver, so that'll give us a good direct comparison. So this one should end up being translucent because I didn't, although I seem to put quite a lot, I didn't go quite as mad as I thought I had. Anyway, let's try now. Let's go around all these colours. Let's go around them all. So what we've done the silver grey, we've done ruby red, and we've done green gold. Let's try the normal gold. Oh, hang on, dark grey. I'll also want to try the normal gold because I want to see what that looks like in comparison to the green gold. So it seems to me that if you only use a bit, I've used quite a bit here, but if you only use a little bit you get a translucent effect, which is rather nice. Okay, so yeah, that's clearly quite a lot darker than the silver grey, which you'd expect seeing as it's called dark grey. Going to move on to the small ones now because I don't want to mix up another load of resin really. Right, red gold. That's nice, isn't it? It looks more like an antique gold. Actually, that green gold looks like an antique gold, doesn't it? I quite like that one. These golds look pretty amazing. Actually, yeah. Let's do this one here because it's in the sun. And we should be able to see that gold dance on the surface. So let's see what happens if we just do that. Let's leave it. Right, what was I going to do with the next one? So that's the red gold. So it strikes me you can use these as deep gold. You can use these almost like you would an ink as well. Gold. This is the normal gold. Let's see what the difference is between all these shades of gold. I have to say I'm loving them so far. So with, oh that's nice. With this one I'm just going to stir it a bit. Like so. And chuck that in. So we've got one not stirred and but poured on the top. Oh my god, look at that. That to me looks like that's the way to use these. We'll see what it cures like, but look at that. I don't know what it's doing actually though, so we'll see where that goes really. Okay. Next one. Where was that? Deep gold. I don't know if I'm going to get through all of these. I think we can come to the conclusion that they are somewhat fabulous. I do want to try that deep red though. There's a ruby, was it ruby red? Oh, I've done ruby red, haven't I? So this is the one badged up as deep gold. To be fair, I am probably using way more than you need to do this because I'm trying to get a really strong effect so that, oh look at that, so that we can see the colours properly. For the purposes of, you know, making it nicely visible on camera. That's nice, isn't it? That's the dark gold. That's quite antique-y as well, isn't it? We've got brown. Odd. Golden, which when we've got a gold, that's odd. Bronze, we've got coffee. And we've got red wine. I'm going to try that one. I'll try them all. Just going to take a while. Hope you've all got a coffee or something. And of course, this resin does take a while to cure. It's a one-to-one. It's kind of my go-to resin I use for most things, and so it will be, well, for you, a few seconds. For me, a few hours before we can really see what's going on. That's very similar to that one, isn't it? Okay. Oh, it's lovely. Dying to see what these come out like. I really am. Just want to say, actually, a big thank you to IntoResin for sending me these to play with. When I spotted them, I said, oh, please can I have some of those? Sure, of course you can, Tracy. What else would you like? Which is very kind of them. I hope that they are benefiting from the feedback and the, you know, the fact that hopefully they're getting some sales out of this, because you know me, I would absolutely not recommend something if it's something I wouldn't buy myself and use myself. A lot of the stuff I use, I did actually buy myself. This I would most definitely use. I would, if you probably won't see me reviewing things and then saying, oh, this is rubbish. You just won't see it on my channel. So you can rest assured, let's try coffee. Rest assured that if you see me demoing it and I say it's marvellous, it is. Otherwise I just won't show it. I won't have a principle of not slagging off other companies' products, because each to their own, and I usually find that even if I don't like it, somebody else does, and I just don't think it's fair. And also, who knows, I may have used it wrong. Like I'm probably using too much pigment here. Oh, that's nice. Oh, I like that. I didn't expect to like that, and I do. I'm not stirring it in very well because I'm quite liking this sort of bit of a weird swirl effect I've got going on. Yeah, the other thing people ask me is, do I only show things that I earn commission on? Absolutely not. And actually, some of the firm's products I recommend are the ones that I earn least commission from, and some of them I earn absolutely nothing from. Perfect example, the Tiny Turner's pigments you've all seen me raving about lately. I use them a hell of a lot. I don't earn a penny from that. I'm not affiliated. Unfortunately, that does mean I haven't got a discount code for you. Sorry about that. But yeah, I show you what I think is good and what I want to use myself, and then you can make your choices. And if I can get you a deal on them, I will. So actually, other than this mould, because I can't remember, I think that might have been Temu or something. I can't remember where I got that from. Right, where do we get to? I'm leaving all the tops off these. This is going to end in tears, isn't it? What we got? 3 left. Try this golden again. There's so many different shades of gold in here. I want to see what they all look like. Oh, I see. It's a very yellow one. Then it says golden. It's golden. Got it. Hope that one cures okay. I might have overdone it with the pigment. Right, what have we got next? Brown. Now, doesn't that sound boring? But it doesn't look it, does it? You probably should shake them more than this, by the way. I'm just being in a tearing hurry as usual. But you'll probably get a bit more colour and need to use less if you shake them properly. Ah, brown. That looks like another one of these gorgeous coppery colours, isn't it? That's more orange than brown to me. That's lovely. Any car lovers out there? That looks a bit like Austin Rover Volcano. If that makes sense to any car people. Lovely. Are we down to the last one? We are. Okay, I'll use the last bit that's left in the bottom of here. As you can see, I have made an almighty mess over here. And this one is bronze. Well, I have to say, big thumbs up so far for this colour set. We'll see what they look like when they cure, of course, but so far I think it's absolutely beautiful. I have got other metallics as inks, not as pigments. And I've got powders as metallics, again, that'll either float or mix in as a pigment. These are a bit different to ones I've got before. Yeah, I have got some metallic pigments. I've just dribbled into the next one. It's because I was looking around to see what other metallic pigments I'd got. Yeah, I've got some Oh no, those are alcohol inks as well. Yeah, so these appear to be the only liquid metallic pigments that I've got. I've got pigment paste that's metallic, and I've got powders, and I've got inks, but not liquid bottles that are pigment. Right, that's all of them, and yes, I've made an almighty mess. So I'm off to clear up, and I will see you all in a few hours. Okay, let's see if these have cured up enough to demold then. Right, okay, we've basically ended up with a brown flower. So that's probably not the way to use it. However, let's see what the others look like. Because that was that was the green gold. And it is kind of green gold. Yeah, kind of is. Let's have a look at the little turtle. Oh, now that one's worked. I think it's just because it's a more gemstone-y colour. The bottom actually looks nicer. The top just looks like a bit of a colour. But it's come out lovely and sparkly. I mean, they're going to come out lovely and sparkly. That's just what these moulds are like. But let's see what it looks like if you only put a little bit and then stir it in. That was stirred in. Well, they were both stirred in, weren't they? But this is just a bit. So it should have more sort of translucence to it. Oh, that's nice. I've got a bit of the blue in from last time. But it has just added a bit of silveriness to it. Yeah, the blue is from when I used the mould before. You see a bit of blue. Should have cleaned that out, shouldn't I? So yeah, it's nice, but as I say, I don't think that's what these inks were intended for. So it's probably not very fair on them. We'll see a bit more what they're really like in here. And same again, it's just made it sort of slightly opalescent in a way. It's got that sort of lost some transparency, but it's not really doing anything terribly exciting. Probably, as I said, not the right moulds for it. But what is nice, and big thumbs up for the moulds, the one that I have used probably, well, couple hundred times, I don't know how many times, I've totally lost count, is still holding up and producing as cleaner, shinier, sparklier surface as the brand new one. Right, let's have a look at this slot then. Okay, that's nice and sparkly, but I'm going to leave the rest. I think because they're thin, they haven't cured quite as fast, so they're still a bit soft. So I better leave the rest, but I've done that one. That's the one I did all translucent. Look at the patterning in the back. It's a shame you can't see that patterning so much from the front, but we've got a bit of a float effect going on. Well, that must have sunk, mustn't it? So it's very nice. They are very metallic, I'll give it that. Right, I'll come back and do the rest in another hour. I'll give it another hour. Now, I'm about to put a screenshot up here for you because during the interlude I've had a look at the advert for this metallic pigment. See, it says resin pigment, and yeah, it tells you all about it. What it doesn't say anywhere, but it does say on the advert for it, on the website, is it calls it ink. So now we know why it is behaving like alcohol inks and sitting on the surface if we don't stir it in. So that's great, we've got some options with it. Let's have a look then. So mixed in, it's very pretty. You do get this sort of metallic pearlescence. It's very nice indeed. We'll have a go in a minute at something that it's probably more intended for, though. That's nice. That's that coffee one, isn't it? Unusual. So look, that one I've got a bit of the gold in the side. That's a nice effect, isn't it? Right, we're going to have a bit of a play with these. So as a video testing out a product, this is getting a bit out of hand. Nice. I think that's that green gold again, isn't it? It is kind of a greenish gold. I'm getting like a bit of a billow effect in it, which is kind of interesting. Right, we'll leave the ones that just the metallic back to last. They're very subtle, aren't they? Oh, that's nice. That's silver. I've left it translucent. That's nice. That's the dark silver, and that is more of a. It's almost a smoked effect, isn't it? Okay, so some of it sank on that one, and I've got a bit of a weird surface going on. Same there. Odd. Ew. And it blobbed where I put the blobs of the ink. Interesting. So yes, I don't quite know what to make of them so far. I mean, this one is a bit of a showstopper, but that is largely because of the mould. But it is really nice as a colour. So let's try something like more like these are intended for, probably. And we'll use this heart mould again because it's kind of sweet, isn't it? We'll do some of the bigger ones. Right, I'm going to get some resin mixed up. This one, putting some resin in first, and the same with this one. These will end up being pocket hooks or something. Yeah, and this big one here. Then let's get some of these colours, and let's go for a bit of contrast. Let's have, where's that brown? Because that's dramatic, wasn't it? Coffee, that was it. And gold. Let's give them a shake. Now, I'm just going to wiggle this around a bit because I do want that to cover the bottom, pretty much anyway. I've got a pointy stick here. I'm being careful not to touch the actual surface of the mould because I don't want to scratch it. But this pointy stick, by the way, is a micro brush that I pulled the fluff off the end. So you get this nice little, not too sharp, pointy stick. So, just going to let the bubbles dissipate from that. Okay, just been a couple of minutes and the bubbles will all come out nicely now. So what I'm going to do with these is some layers of colours in different ways. So that's, as you can see, all one colour. This one I'm doing a couple of colours. I'm going to put the gold in the middle of where I put the coffee. This one I'm going to put a lot of the gold. Maybe we'll have another one. I'm just putting the gold to one side. And then this one I'm going to put the gold onto the mould along with some of this coffee one. I'm quite intrigued by this coffee one, you may have noticed. Now the other thing I've got ready is some white Sinker ink. It's the IntoResin one. I get big bottles of it because what resin art's like, we get through a lot of that, don't we? So here it is. I've given it a darn good shake. I've put it into a needle top bottle. Just trying to get the little rubber bit out of the way. So we're going to see if this will do like a sinky effect or not. Now, I have to say, whenever I've tried this with metallics before, it doesn't work terribly well. So we'll see how these behave. You do get an interesting effect, but you don't get that lovely sort of Petri effect. So with this one, I put the gold over to the left, didn't I? But it's filled it up, so I'm going to put more on the right. And this, I'm just dotting some of the white in now. Now what we're going to do is go around and pour a bit more. That one I don't think I'm going to touch, that's doing something quite nice. So that one's in swirls. There we are, that one was zigzags. And this one, I'm just going to pour it in the middle and see what happens. Ooh! Well, that went well. Just don't go in there. Come this way, come this way. Might need to do that one again. Do you think? Well, it's going to be a glorious, nice, sparkly mess anyway, isn't it? Right. Okay, let's do that one again. But what I can see is that the ink didn't really move on the bottom. You can see through, and you can see that it didn't. So, but this swirly effect that I'm getting on the top here, that's what I was kind of hoping for, a bit of that. So, the next one then, ignore the mess. We're going in for this one over here next. That looks like it's doing something interesting as well, doesn't it? What I'm going to do is put 2 drops of the gold straight into the pot and 2 drops of the brown straight into the pot. And we're just going to give it a little bit of a swizzle like that. I don't know what that's going to do, but it doesn't look as if it's doing a great deal, does it? Oh, that's going interesting. I wonder if it'll stay like that. So I think basically I'm putting too much of the inks in, because those are rather nice. Right, bear with me. More resin coming up. And I'll carry on with these same 2 colours because I think it's quite nice to see direct comparisons just using these same 2 colours. Okay, a drops of the sinker. Then I'm going to drop some more resin on top of the gold. I like how the gold floats. This one's pulling in. Do I swirl it? I've got a little bit of gold still on this stick. See what that does. It's not very deep, so I'm not sure it'll do a great deal. This one I'm loath to mess because it seems to be doing something interesting in there, so we'll see what happens there. This one I'm going to add a bit more of the clear. I'm trying to see if I can get the gold to do like a billow effect. Because it was starting to do that in some of the others, wasn't it? That was when it was mixed in. Red wine, that was quite deep, wasn't it? So it looks to me as if the ones that I put the resin in first, definitely, because the ink just didn't move, did it? This time I'm going to pour it a little bit deeper. In fact, let's get a couple of them ready. And this time just putting the dots in from one side, and then I know what I'm going to do with these remaining ones. I am going to try the Daniel Cooper technique with the hairspray. Anybody who hasn't seen it, I'll put you a link to that below. Well, that's working nicely. See how it's all pushing from this side? Dare I put some white? Right, back in a moment. I'm going to get some hairspray. Those angelfish eggs have definitely grown. You're doing something. Yeah. They look a slightly odd shape now. Where the door shut so I can carry on. Well, with the door shut, it's quiet enough for me to be able to edit it out. Now, of course, the problem here is trying not to get hairspray in the other ones. I'll try and spray from this side and cover these up a bit. So, okay, I've got a few bubbles in that. I think they were there before I sprayed, though. Goodness, he's right. Well, I knew he'd be right, but, you know. Although, because I only put a tiny bit of hairspray and it hasn't dried, it's spreading a bit, and we're getting like this we are with that first one. Yeah, look, see, it doesn't spread as much. It's amazing, isn't it? Nice one, Daniel. Oh, that did. Maybe I needed a bit more hairspray, but it's still not spreading like the original ones did. It's mostly just spreading where the previous lot of alcohol ink is. We'll do a silvery one in a minute. Yeah, it's running into the alcohol, the ink, rather than the spreading on the resin. Interesting to see what a different effect this makes. Okay, the next one then we will do with the silvery colours. Let's see if we can get a little bit more hairspray in here if I put my hand over these. Should have thought about this earlier, shouldn't I? And got another mould out, really. There we are. So I'm going to swirl just one of them and not the other. It'll be interesting to see what these come out like, isn't it? Right, silver grey. So probably, I'm still thinking I should let that hairspray dry more, but it's still inhibiting the spreading a bit, isn't it? But then they spread anyway because of the spreading between the alcohols. It's because I'm letting them touch. In a bigger mould, I don't think that'd happen. Alright, I've still got some resin left, so what shall I chuck it in? I know, I've got a little bowl mould I've been meaning to do. Okay, let's put these out of the way. This is a brand new bowl mould. As you can see, it's got a pentagram in the bottom. Yeah, let's give that a try. I'm going to need some, obviously I'm going to need more resin than this, so let's get some mixed up. And what I'm thinking is I'll probably try most of them. Well, as many as I can get in there, really. Right, so my cunning plan with this one is pour a bit in, let it settle. Look how many bubbles I've got in there. This resin degasses so well, and it's just as well. It's fairly Tracy proof because I am blemmin' hopeless with mixing up properly, as you know. Right, let's get all these colours out so we can see what's what. So there's the one that's just called gold. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 3 drops of a colour, then a bit of resin. That's what we've done. We've done gold. Hang on. I'm going to put them away once I've done them. So now we want a contrasty one, so let's go for ruby red. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, that's doing something interesting, isn't it? It's a shame they don't stay like it. So some of these colours, it seems to me, you need more than others. Because that ruby red hasn't gone as far. Let's give it another shake and try again. You see what I mean? It's not as gold. I think the gold and silver are going to overpower. So there we go. It's gone again with the ruby red. Now let's go for a dark one. Let's go for the dark grey. It's not very central, is it? Let's see if I can pull it back towards the centre. So I'm putting a bit more of these other colours. You're probably going to think I'm mad here, but I'm going to go in with a dot of, well, it's almost black. It's called Coffee and it's from Let's Resin. I haven't even opened this one yet. And that's why I wanted to do it. Crazy weird spider effect in the middle. So it's almost black. It's called Coffee. Blimey, that'd be a strong coffee, wouldn't it? Now, do I put a little bit of resin in the centre of it? Yeah. See what that's doing? That's going mad. So I think what I'm going to do is put another couple of dots of that. I just felt as if this needed a bit more weight to it, and I didn't want to go in with black. I just thought that black would be a little bit too strong. So now I'm going to fill it right up and we'll just see what this all does. And I guesstimated the amount of resin just right. There you go, me. Okay, so what was intended to be a very short video has ended up being quite a long and messy one. But I hope you've enjoyed it so far. Anyway, anybody who hasn't already subscribed, please do, because I make a mess regularly in my craft room, and if you found this a bit of fun so far, I am sure you will find the rest of my stuff fun. It's all just made up as I go along. Big shout out to my channel members, of course. Thank you all so much, and for all of you who watch, subscribe, comment, all of that is just amazing. Thank you. And now I'm just messing. Let's have a bit more. I wish I'd put some of this in to start with, actually. Right, there we are. Okay, I'm really going to stop messing now. So I will see you in a few hours. This is a resin that takes quite a while to cure. It's one of these overnighter jobbies. However, it is very warm in my craft room today, even with the windows open and all the fans going and everything. I've got a south-facing room and the sun has hit it, so even if it's quite chilly outside, if the sun's out, it gets warm in here. So it shall probably cure quicker than normal. Now I have, oh, it's doing something nice there. I'll zoom you in a minute. Let's do that now. So yeah, I'll see you for the demold. If anything interesting happens in the meantime, I'll come back to you. But what I probably will do is put a layer of something on the back, just clear, just to finish it, I think. But that would just be a case of running a bit of clear over it. It's ever so tempting to get a stick and do some like patterning, but no, I want to let it do its thing, I think, because I've got that reasonably central in the end. Right, we'll leave this lot and I'll see you later. Right, time to demold all this lot then. Should we get this messy one out first? It's actually all bendy still because it's messy. Ended up the spotty effect. Weird. Anyway, that's the one I messed up. This one, I really could have put a back on it, but it looked interesting. And it's still a bit bendy, I think, because it's so thin. See-through. Not the most exciting. Well, that one's kind of interesting. I've ended up with like a marble effect. That was the one I kind of zigzagged, wasn't it? That's ended up rather interesting and nice. So you've got like a swoosh through it. That's mostly, I think, the Sinker White that's done that. Boring. That didn't do anything. I can't remember which of these are which. We'll have to go back through the video and look later. That's quite sweet. Now that's the one I put gold on the corner, white on the other side, and just waited to see where they went, wasn't it? That's quite sweet. I quite like that one. The gold's just subtle. It's nice. This one I did as something soon. That's no. Yeah. Okay. Oh, this one looks like it's snowing. So that's mostly the white that's done that. Because I put gold one side, white the other, and we've just totally lost the gold and the white took over. Okay. These aren't the most successful, are they? Oh, that's quite cute. So the silver's pushed itself around the edges. You've got that see-through effect. Quite like that. Ah, now that's the one that I let it go in waves across. If you remember, I poured it here and it just sort of rippled across. And that's rather nice. It's kind of subtle, isn't it? But you can see where it pushed across. Okay. And that's the one I swirled. Now, that I think could do with a background on it. See what a white, let's put white behind it. That's rather weird and nice, isn't it? Actually, there's a few of these that might benefit from white behind them. So, there we go, so we can see what we're doing better. Yeah, interesting. Where's that other one that looked kind of nice? See, black is what you typically put behind things like this, isn't it? Meh. That one's still meh. That one I'm quite liking that one. Okay. And this one, yeah, I did manage to get a bit of like a sort of smoky blotchiness. I think what I'm saying here is that these inks are really nice, and I just don't know what I'm doing. So yeah, enjoy, folks. If you get some of these, it looks like they work. They're great. It's just obviously down to you to use your imagination and do a better job of doing something with them than me. But I might make those two into necklaces. The others I think will become nice little pocket hooks. Now let's get this little bowl out, because this took me a while, didn't it, to put all the colours in. And I'm hoping it's done something interesting. Although looking at the sides, it looks like they're all just modged. Though the bottom looks like it might be interesting, I don't know. Let's see. Oh! Actually, I kind of like it. Would have been nice if I'd done the... and I probably still could do the pentagram in afterwards. But it looks kind of... Look how the marbling's gone round here. And the sides, actually, from the outside didn't look that impressive, but from the inside, again, let me get something white behind it. This is one of my business cards. The sides have done something really quite interesting. And the bottom, I love. I'm actually glad I put that really dark ink in at the end. I think that's giving it some sort of weight and depth. I'm keeping that. I love it. And actually, without colouring the pentagram in, I think, I rather like it as it is. It looks kind of, I don't know, it's almost like a bit sci-fi-ish. So, anyway, there we go. Verdict. Thumbs up for the inks. They're awesome. My skill isn't. If you do get hold of some of these, do have fun, because I think if you really wanted to persevere and play, they're as nice as any other metallic alcohol ink I've ever had. And in addition to that, there's these really unusual colours too. And yeah, some of these effects that I've produced really are rather nice. I'm sure you could persevere, and that has definitely got some wow factor to it, hasn't it? That's gorgeous. And I love the edges. So, big thumbs up. Thank you so much, IntoResin, for sending me these inks. And yeah, I hope we've learned something from my messing about. It looks to me that the, you know, probably not putting them in these moulds, because as beautiful and sparkly as these moulds still are, I don't think that's what these inks really are intended for. But things like this, and I'm sure the potential there for little jewellery pieces and whatever. Fabulous. So if you found this video helpful, folks, then please do give me a thumbs up. You know where to drop your comments as well. I'd like to know your thoughts. You know, do you fancy having a go with these mad inks? I think they're rather wonderful. So I'll see you for the next video. Thanks again, everyone, and take care. Enjoy your crafting. Bye.